Police emergency, this is Katrina.
Hi, Katrina. I would like to report a body in St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney CBD.
Sorry, you'd like to report?
Bodies near there.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
So, there's a body that in St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney CBD.
The voice is calm, collected, chillingly, almost bizarrely normal. It's 11:45 p.m. on October 25th, 2023.
What's your name?
I'd rather not disclose.
This call would lead police to a place of learning, a prestigious school in the heart of Sydney, where they would find a scene of unimaginable violence in a gymnasium bathroom. The victim was 21-year-old Lilie James, a beloved water polo coach. The caller, police would soon discover, was her 24-year-old colleague and ex-boyfriend, Paul Thijssen. He made this call 4 hours after he had murdered her. But this was not a crime of passion. It was not a momentary loss of control. It was a meticulously planned execution. An attack the killer was captured on camera rehearsing, just hours before he carried it out. Lilie James was, by every account, a human ray of sunshine. Born in May 2002 to a loving, close-knit family, her grandmother would later say she was bright as a button from the moment she was born, so full of life and so kind to everybody else. She grew up a champion swimmer, competing at the under-17 level. She was athletic, artistic, and academically driven. After graduating from Danebank Anglican School for Girls, she enrolled at the University of Technology, Sydney, pursuing a degree in sports business. By October 2023, she was in her final year, just months away from graduation. She was already putting her passion to work as a water polo coach at St Andrew's Cathedral School, where students adored her. The school itself described her as being full of vitality, energy, enthusiasm. Her father, Jamie, described her as always on the go, someone who lived each day to the fullest. She was independent, vibrant, and kind. She was 21 years old, and she had her entire life ahead of her. It was here, at this respected institution, that she worked alongside Paul Thijssen, a 24-year-old sports assistant. The two had been in a brief, casual relationship for about 5 weeks. Lilie, friends said, had been clear she didn't want anything serious. 5 days before her death, she ended it. October 25th, 2023, began as a normal Wednesday. That's how her mother, Peta, would later describe it. She recalled watching Lilie eat Vegemite toast in their living room, looking at the clock, knowing her daughter's train was due soon. She didn't seem agitated. She didn't seem frightened. Lilie went to university, then to St Andrews for her afternoon coaching duties. She finished her session around 7 p.m., dutifully waiting with her students until their parents collected them. Security cameras captured what happened next. She met Thijssen at the gym entrance. She was smiling, interacting with him. There was no indication of what he was about to do. She was heading to the bathroom to change for her own water polo match later that night. At 7:12 p.m., Lilie James walked into the disabled bathroom stall. 2 minutes later, at 7:14 p.m., Paul Thijssen followed her inside. Enhanced footage, released during the inquest, would show he was carrying a hammer. What happened in that stall was an act of brutal, focused rage. Forensic experts would later testify that Lilie suffered at least 25 distinct blunt force trauma injuries to her head and neck. It was, they said, an overkill. The assault was so severe that first responders wouldn't be able to recognize her. Paul Thijssen remained in that bathroom with Lilie's body for 1 hour and 12 minutes. He had locked the gym doors so he wouldn't be disturbed. And in that time, he picked up Lilie's phone. He opened her text messages. And with his victim lying dead at his feet, he composed a message to her father, Jamie. Jamie replied, "Are you okay?" Jamie, worried, raced to the school. He searched. He called her friends. He found her bag at her desk, but Lilie was nowhere to be found. Unknowingly, he was just meters away from where his daughter's body lay, on the other side of a locked door. For hours, the James family and Lilie's friends were in an agonizing limbo, searching for a girl they thought was alive and in trouble. It all came to a halt at 11:45 p.m. with Thijssen's anonymous call. When police, guided by Thijssen's precise directions, entered that bathroom, they found what Superintendent Martin Fileman described as one of the worst and quite confronting crime scenes officers had seen. A homicide investigation was launched immediately. The suspect was quickly identified. St. Andrew's Cathedral School is covered in security cameras, and Paul Thijssen, investigators realized, had taken almost no steps to conceal himself. In fact, at times, he seemed to look directly at the cameras. The footage didn't just capture the crime, it captured the planning. This is what turns this case from a tragedy into a calculated nightmare. Investigators pulled footage from 2 days earlier. There was Thijssen in a Mitre 10 hardware store in the hammer aisle. He is seen picking up several hammers, testing their weight, turning them over in his hands before making a selection. Then, on the day of the murder, in the hours leading up to 7 p.m., he was seen conducting what the inquest called dry runs. He practiced his entry from different angles. He tested the weight and swing of the bathroom stall door. He even obtained a cleaning in progress sign and deliberately placed it outside a different bathroom. Why? To ensure Lilie would be forced to use the larger, disabled stall, the exact location he had chosen for his attack. This was not a momentary loss of control. This was a rehearsed execution. As police were piecing this timeline together, a manhunt was underway. But Thijssen's 000 call had been traced, not to the school, but to Vaucluse, an area known for its dramatic coastal cliffs. Police rushed to Diamond Bay. They found Thijssen's backpack. Nearby, in a bin, they found items associated with the homicide, believed to include the murder weapon. At 2 a.m., just 3 minutes after Thijssen left his car for the last time, officers arrived. But he was gone. On October 27th, a body was spotted on the rocks below. It was Paul Thijssen. He had taken his own life. The killer was dead. But the question that haunted everyone was why? So who was Paul Thijssen? To the world, he was a golden boy. Born in the Netherlands, he moved to Sydney with his family at 15. He enrolled at St. Andrew's, the very school he would later defile. He was a model student, a sports captain, a prefect. He was described by a headmaster as an absolute delight, a role model. After graduating, he was hired by the school as a sports assistant. But the 2025 coronial inquest would reveal this entire image was a lie, a carefully constructed facade built on a fragile sense of self. The inquest revealed Thijssen had duped friends, employers, and Australian visa authorities. His LinkedIn profile, claiming a business degree from Utrecht University, was a fabrication. He was in Australia on falsified documentation. He wasn't a successful graduate. He was a compulsive liar. Forensic psychologist Dr. Kate Seidler testified that Thijssen didn't meet the criteria for a personality disorder or mental illness. Instead, he was driven by a core belief that he was inadequate and unworthy. His entire life was a performance, and he aligned himself with successful or popular people, like Lilie, to bolster his own fake status. His motivation for murder, Dr. Seidler concluded, wasn't anger or passion. It was fear. This was not a man out of control, she stated. I think he was very afraid his carefully constructed public narrative was going to fall apart. Lilie James hadn't just rejected him. Her rejection threatened to expose him as a fraud. And this wasn't the first time his fragile ego had been challenged. The inquest heard from a previous girlfriend, identified as Freya. The story was sickeningly familiar. The relationship started well, but Thijssen quickly became controlling. He demanded she share her location on Snapchat. He would blow up at her if she didn't respond immediately. She described him as obsessive and intense. When Freya definitively ended the relationship in 2021, Thijssen's response was alarming. He showed up at her church. He confronted her. And when she confirmed it was over, he punched a tree immediately next to her head with full force and told her, "I can't punch the one thing I want to." He then stalked her home, lurking outside her window, until her father chased him away with a cricket bat. When police found Paul Thijssen's belongings at Diamond Bay, 10 meters from his backpack, they found a set of handmade vouchers. They had been given to him by Freya 2 years earlier. He had been looking at them, mementos of a woman who had rejected him in his final moments. With Thijssen's suicide, there would be no criminal trial. There would be no cross-examination, no guilty plea, no sentencing. For the James family, justice in the traditional sense was impossible. Instead, the truth, in all its devastating detail, was laid bare in a coronial inquest in March 2025. This was the only legal forum left to answer how and why Lilie died. Over 3 days, the court heard the gut-wrenching evidence. They heard the 000 call. They saw the dry run footage. They were shown the timeline of Thijssen's stalking, 7 documented stalking episodes over 4 days, from October 21st to October 25th, including the go-get-share cars he hired to drive to Lilie's home and her train station, the photos he took of cars parked outside her house. And they were shown that final, terrible footage. The counsel assisting, Jennifer Single, warned the court, her voice cracking. No matter how many times you view that footage, it's not easy to watch. The video played. Lilie smiling. Thijssen following. The experts explained the motive. Dr. Danny Sullivan, a forensic psychiatrist, characterized the attack simply: gender-based violence. Thijssen, he said, used physical violence against a woman who had spurned his advances. The inquest confirmed it. This was not a mystery. It was a brutal, premeditated act of control, entitlement, and ego. The murder of Lilie James sent a shockwave through the entire country. It sparked grief, outrage, and a painful national conversation. At Lilie's funeral, held at her former school, hundreds of mourners were asked to wear bright colors and florals, a request from her family to celebrate her vibrant spirit, not the darkness of her death. But the most powerful moment of all came from Lilie's parents, Jamie and Peta. At the inquest, holding hands, Peta James read a statement that brought the courtroom to tears. "Lilie, sweet pea," she said, "I am so sorry we couldn't protect you from what happened that night. The guilt that I feel will stay with us forever." And then they delivered a message to all of us. As parents, if we are not teaching our sons how to respect a woman's opinions and choices and accept rejection, we could be setting our daughters up for failure. In a moment, Lilie's parents cut through all the noise, all the legal theory, all the psychology, and hit the very heart of the problem. Lilie's death became a flashpoint. It occurred just as New South Wales was preparing to criminalize coercive control, a law that came into effect in July 2024. Her case became the ultimate, tragic example of why that law was so desperately needed. The murder of Lilie James forces us to ask an uncomfortable question. How many of Paul Thijssen's red flags have we, as a society, simply normalized? His obsessive monitoring of Lilie's Snapchat location, his demanding to know where she was, his jealousy. These are behaviors so common in the digital age, especially among young people, that we often fail to see them for what they are, not caring, but controlling. The inquest heard that Thijssen had shared a private, intimate image of Lilie with 2 of his friends. Only one of those friends thought to mention it to police. It shows, as one expert noted, how normalized this behavior has become. Lilie James's story is an unthinkable tragedy, but it is also a powerful, desperate warning. It's a call to see past the facade of the golden boy and to recognize the patterns of coercive control before they escalate to violence. It's a call to have difficult conversations, to check in on our friends, and to teach our sons and ourselves that rejection is not an attack on one's ego. It is a fundamental human right. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Have we normalized these controlling behaviors in our own lives? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic or family violence, please know that you are not alone. We have left links to support services in the description. Take care and see you next time.